The following is a Podbeard production.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hodder.
And I'm Caz.
And you're listening to Two Guys and a Game! The Epilogue edition.
Oh, yeah. It is good to be back.
It is so good. Woo. It is good to hear your voice, my friend. It really is. I mean, it's not like I don't see you or anything, but like...
Yeah, I know. It's not like, we're like actually like, we're not a part in this at all during any of this. So we're still seeing each other on a daily basis.
That's very true. And it's so funny, man. Like we hope that you guys are doing absolutely awesome. Thank you so very much for checking out this very special kind of one-off here on Two Guys in a Game. We just to start off with it, we really wanted to do something mostly for us just to have fun and record a podcast again together, especially with everything going on in the world right now. As Cad said, we're both still working. We both still work at the same place that we did when we started this podcast. So we still see each other like all the time, but we don't get to record. So it's like this weird dynamic of, we get to see each other. And obviously, Caz is always still Caz Jones to me.
Yeah, I mean, I grow sometimes. I change. Cazador Jones does not change, but
the man behind Caz Jones has definitely, I think, maybe I don't think matured is the right word a little bit, because it's not like you weren't mature. You just kind of I don't know.
Just grown in a different direction. That's all.
Yeah. It's been a long year and a half. It's been a year since we did episode 50. Over a year, I think now. I think the anniversary of that just happened or something along those lines, but it's been a while.
That's how crazy this is. It just blows by that fast now. Oh man.
It was just like, holy shit. But this whole thing started, as you guys, if you're listening to this, you probably already know, I would hope anyway, that all of the previous 50 episodes of Two Guys in a Game, plus the DLC episodes, are currently up right now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that fun stuff, which you can go back and listen to those episodes. They're also up on YouTube, but who cares? But that's kind of what started this whole thing is, when Caz and I did episode 50, it was very, we kind of just knew, okay, I think we need to just, like we talked about, kind of maybe lay Two Guys in a Game to rest. And there was, life was getting crazy. Caz had just moved. There was a lot going on. So the way that things ended compared to maybe I think the way that both of us kind of agreed that, do we really want that to be the very last thing we ever do on Two Guys in a Game? The very last thing. And that's what kind of started this whole thing. I think you either came to me or I was talking with you one day about the fact that, with this, and we're not going to dwell on this a lot or anything, guys, but the coronavirus quarantine, blah, 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 there's so many people are doing podcasts and all this. And it's like, I want to say you said we should just do something. And I think you meant to do something on my other podcast, The Hodder Show, but I was just like, no, fuck it. Why don't we just do a little one-off, we have the DLC stuff. Sometimes DLC comes out long after a game is over.
Yep.
Sometimes.
3 years later, here you go. Here's some more DLC, guys. We know you haven't been playing. The servers have been knocked down for about 2 months, but thanks for playing. Here you go. It's also only dial-up, so...
It's also only dial-up, so, fucking enjoy. And
that's our DLC.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's not like we were going to sit and talk about the coronavirus or anything, but it was just you know what? For old time's sake, let's freaking do it. And we've been talking about the fact that, again, we mentioned this in episode 50, that, it's not like we didn't like podcasting together anymore or anything. It just wasn't really going to work no more with the Two Guys in a Game and that. But it was there's no reason why we can't still do podcasting. And it was always my intentions of having the great Caz Jones, the Tangent King, on the Hodder Show. It just hasn't really happened yet, but fuck it. We're doing DLC and Two Guys in a Game. And I think what the people, I'm sitting here rambling on, I apologize. What I think everybody is curious about, Cazador Jones, my good man, what is new and exciting in the world of Cazador Jones? It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's just like with new, just new life experience, new levels attained in life, like moving on up, not stopping, just keep on going. Even through all this madness in the world today, just find a reason to get up, find a reason to, do something, make yourself productive in some way, and don't give up, and that's just what I'm doing. I keep going, keep on trucking, don't stop. I keep working because you know what, like there's not really nothing else to do except for just keep pushing through this in any way, keep the normal alive, and that's just what we have to do every day. So that's what's new and exciting. Like nothing really, just day-to-day life has just gotten more and more interesting as we go along through all these changes.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's like, again, with what's going on in the world right now, like you guys listening, we hope that, you're safe and everyone in your family is healthy and all that. And, all the motorized windblowers out there, we hope that you are, keeping your fan belts greased and your, and your cages together. And what else does a fan do? I don't know. I got nothing.
They rotate a lot,
Like we know that, of course, as Cazo Jones at one point, of course, was called the lawnmower. I know that he is keeping his oil changed and his blade sharp and all that fun shit.
And Hodder is keeping his garbage cans clean. I see them every day. They're beautiful.
Yes, I absolutely am. But what's kind of crazy, and just for the record, guys, we are actually going to get into some gaming talk and stuff like that because there's, we have a little bit, well, mainly Caz has quite a lot to cover as normal with two guys in a game. And I have like two things to talk about. But what's kind of funny about the whole thing was one of the big reasons why we basically had to stop and kind of went on hiatus was because you moved. And the funny thing is that literally few months later, I moved. And I moved even further.
Yes.
So it's funny kind of how that worked out. I'm like well over an hour away now, and he moved like 30 minutes away, give or take, whereas I moved like an hour away. So now it's like even harder. So if we were still doing two guys in a game, oh God, it would have been, we would be doing it like this, basically.
Yeah, I guess so. It would be at this point, yeah.
It would be very just video call type shit,
I also just want to point out, I love how we're following traditional format too, how we don't talk about games until right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What did they think? What do you think's going to happen? Oh, two guys in a game is back with some DLC. Be able to talk about some games. Fuck no.
Stick to the format. Just stick to what you know. Don't change anything. Keep it that way. Disregard everything I said a couple minutes ago about growing and changing. Just stick to the old shit. Mm-hmm. Use cash. Lick the cash and then hand cash off to other people. Let's go. Come on, people. Get with the time.
We play the hits here on two guys in a game, bitches. Listen. Real talk. The fact that people would always say to me, I don't tune into two guys at a game to listen to you guys talk about games. I tune in to listen to cast hands-on about a bunch of random bullshit and just go off and be hilarious. And then you try and reel them back in because it's funny to me. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. So tangents, welcome.
So welcome to the tangents, motherfucker. But it's...
if only we could get funding for Time for a Tangent, but they're just not letting us have the money. They just don't want to give it to us.
Yeah, the spinoff was something that we always joked around about, and it's like two guys in a game was what's like a show that had a good spinoff.
I don't know, Family Guy and the Cleveland Show.
No, something better than that. Come on, you gotta have another one. You gotta have another one.
Another spinoff.
What was another good spinoff?
Any spinoffs that survive, though, very well.
Well, I'm not saying our spinoff would survive. Just it would be a good spinoff.
I like to call I would like to call the next one a sequel, not so much a spinoff.
Fair. Okay. Fair enough. Well, then what was a good sequel?
Then there's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then there's The Legend of Korra. There you go. they're both basically Legend of Korra is supposed to be a spinoff, but it's not. It's a sequel series. So there you go. But they're both equally amazing in their own way.
What the hell is Legend of Korra?
You've never seen Legend of Korra? Okay, so yeah, like you've got Avatar, The Last Airbender, and that's about Aang, and he is an avatar. He can control all 4 elements, and then he goes through his trials to become the avatar, and his legend lives on, and then all of a sudden you go into the next generation, well, the next avatar is born, and that's Korra. So she's right after Aang. She's the new avatar, but hers is more of a different journey. She learns all of her elements very quickly, except airbending, which is ironic because that's the opposite of what Aang was. Aang was an airbender, and he had trouble learning all the other elements.
That's why it's like The Last Airbender or something.
Yeah, so he's the last airbender, or and then like Legend of Korra, that lives on, and she's trying to become like the avatar, and it's a really good series, and it really gets in deeper. But yeah, that's what I would say, circling back all the way to the beginning, that we would sequel our podcast series. We would not call it a spin-off.
It would be a sequel, 2 Guys in a Game, and how it grew and everything.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, and also, I just want to point out that I did tangent, but I brought myself back.
Yes,
there.
you did.
So,
that was impressive.
Suck it, world. Castaway Jones has grown up. What is wrong with him?
Well, also, like, like we're doing this pretty late at night and everything, so I think like you're a little more focused probably than you normally would be.
I am. I actually woke up from a really long nap, so I am pretty focused.
You're like razor sharp, and
yes.
I'm sitting here drinking beer. It's just.
I'm drinking Powerade at like midnight. It's great.
It's funny how the difference. I'm over here drinking a nice, refreshing Spearhead Brewing Company Chardonnay Summer Ale. Any of our Canadian motorized windblowers, get on Spearhead Brewery. Fantastic stuff. But with all that rambling and all that fun stuff, we now get to the part in the podcast where we actually talk about gaming. So,
yay!
Caz! Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. You know what I listened to the other day? Just a real quick side note on a tangent before we start, because I'm apparently the tangent king now. So
apparently.
I was listening back to episode, I think it was episode 39. I think it was the Pokemon Emerald episode.
Okay, yep.
And for you guys listening to this right now, even if you have no desire to listen to any of the content that we do, I strongly implore you, that's right, I busted out implore, to go listen to at least the first 2 minutes of every single episode of 2 Guys in a Game. Just for the skits. Okay? The skits were one of my favorite parts of doing 2 Guys in a Game. But this one in particular episode, the reason why I loved it so much was the Pickle Rick episode just came out. Or it came out a little while ago. And do you remember Hash Brown Hodder?
No, but I do now.
Bro, it was basically for you guys, I was at my cottage my buddy's cottage, and I was hammered the whole weekend, and there was one morning there was hash browns, and I was eating all these hash browns, and I was all hyped up about hash browns all day. So they were you're hash brown Hodder. So then the skit was the Pickle Rick skit, but it was me being hash brown Hodder instead. And it's fucking hilarious.
I cannot remember that we did that. That is so crazy. There's so many things in our show though that I want to listen to, but I can never find it, and I wish we had made more mental notes.
Yeah. Well, now you can just go back and listen to them all because now they're live as we're recording this. But yeah, there's stuff I forgot about, bro. There was stuff that we always do the shout outs at the end, but real quick, there was stuff that Brandon did.
Yeah.
That I'm sure he's listening to this right now, buddy. What's up? We love you. There was stuff that Brandon did that holy shit. The one episode where we were kind of talking shit about him. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what exactly the context was, but I think it was about E3 or something. And you were kind of you said something obviously joking, and I kind of agreed with you. And then he did a sexy correction, and he just tore us to shit. It was just you're welcome. I was oh my God.
It's
I had to
time
pull
for
over.
a
I was
sexy
laughing so hard.
correction.
And
Oh, I know.
it's time for a sexy correction. I was like,
I
fuck.
died with some of the bits he did, like the sexy news report, and now it's time for another sexy
Ready your
news
sphincters,
report.
everyone. We can't do it. We can't do a news report right now, folks, or else trust me, I would plug it in right now. But because there's just we're gonna be doing this evergreen, so like we can't. There's just I have no news to report to you guys. But
There's no news.
the sexy news report is just like, oh man, that was classic. And obviously,
No,
Casdo
there's-
Jones in the Game of the Month is probably the best one he did.
Yeah, that was good too. I like that one. That one honestly has like the most work put into it, and you can just tell the passion went into there. And it was just like, yeah, it was really nice actually, because it felt like I kept talking about something like that, and we all kept talking about it, and then finally it was made, and we were just like, holy jumping, this was above and beyond what we could have ever imagined for a sound bit. Like, it just, even listening to it still, it's just like, oh, we didn't even use it that much, and we really should have.
Yeah, we only really used it a few times. Like, there was a few things we did near the end there. This almost just become like us being nostalgic about the show, but I like it. It became like we had all these really good ideas, and just timing and like, I mean, like I said in episode 50, I was not who I needed to be with Two Guys in a Game, because like I would be like always talking about all these like old games and shit, and like I made it my gimmick, but like after a while it was like, okay, Brandon would be like, yo, did you hear about this? And I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He'd be like, dude, you're supposed to be the host of a gaming podcast, how do you not know this? I'm like, I don't know, homie. But yeah, man, like there was stuff like the fucking seal of approval, all that stuff near the end there. I was like, yeah, that's some classic shit. I love that stuff. But
yeah, we did good. We brought some good content. It was misguided in certain areas. That's all.
And that's another reason why, like, you guys who are hearing this, if you haven't heard a lot of the old stuff, like, definitely go back and check it out, man. Like, start on episode like 1 and just work your way through it, because I promise there is some serious gems in there.
It is worth the payoff. It is 100% worth the payoff.
Especially like episodes like 6 and 7 are two of still, I think, the best episodes we did. Episode 3 was like awesome. Episode 30, I think, is my favorite episode that we did. I don't know why. It was a Q&A episode, and it was like, just for whatever reason, we were both on that night, only about gaming content. It was like, as far as gaming content from Two Guys in a Game, that's probably was up there.
Yeah, it was a good one.
So, do you have like an episode that's like kind of your favorite that you think back fondly of, or do you not really remember?
Yeah,
that?
I really enjoyed talking about like Stardew Valley.
Yeah,
that one was a really fun one to talk about. Like, I enjoyed that. We had some good times too with like I know it wasn't even Two Guys in a Game, but the Majora's Mask podcast we did is always like a solid one. Like, that one was just so well done. We just, just explaining it, and we both got our opinions and just like get to explain a little bit more of like how we perceive Majora's Mask. It was really fun. That was like the moment where I was like, you know what, this is good here. Like,
yeah, and
talking about this.
Yeah, and that was like, the episode that I've said it 100 times in this podcast. Like, that was the episode where Brandon literally called me and was like, yo, like, who is this guy? That guy's your co-host. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh fuck, all right, cool. But looking back on Two Guys in a Game, it's all awesome, positive, fun memories. And I've had so much fun going back through, pulling these episodes off YouTube and running through them, making sure that some of the episodes that had some audio issues have been fixed. Some of the episodes that, the levels weren't perfect on, I fixed all on my end, not because of Brandon or anything, but mostly near the end. Some of the episodes like weren't great production wise. I went through and kind of just fixed some of them as much as I could. Not that they were bad or anything, but just, some of the levels weren't perfect. Now they're spot on, and very proud of our body of work, my friend. And I think it's fun to look back, and I have had so much fun going back through, and I'm having fun just talking with you. We've been talking for probably almost 20 minutes now, just about a bunch of random bullshit, and just like it's taking me right back. I'm having fun, and in true Two Guys in a Game fashion, we've been just tangenting all over the place about
bouncing.
Goddamn
hey,
right.
Look, a shiny thing. Oh, hey, look, another shiny thing.
Squirrel nut. But it comes to the point of the podcast where we actually talk about gaming. I think, unless we're going to tangent again, but I started the last tangent, so I'm the one starting on the tangents. What the fuck's going on? Anyway, but Cazador Jones, my man.
Yes.
It has been a year and a half, basically, or let's call it a year, since I have asked you this question. And I mean, let's just be honest, my answers aren't very fucking interesting, so we're just probably going to skip me. What have you been playing, sir?
Broad question, TJ. Broad question.
Okay,
if I'm going to be honest with you, TJ, it's looking pretty grim here in the city of. No, I'm just. So what do you want to know though? Like what am I playing at this time? What have I played over the last year?
Okay, so
you want me to talk about like I have a couple indie games that I have played that are really good. I also have been playing non-indie games lately because Nintendo's just been banging it out with their games. So
let's first, before we go any further. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nothing more refreshing than insert beer here.
Let's start off because I'm curious because I haven't even really. I know one game you've been playing the shit out of lately, so we'll maybe end off with that.
Okay.
I know that's basically all you've been playing the last. Because every time I see you, that's.
Yeah,
you play it at work on break and everything, so and I'm sure everyone's probably going to assume you're playing this game, so we'll just save that for last. But right around the time that the show ended, so about a year ago, obviously I'm not expecting you to go through every single fucking game that you've played since then. Right. Give me kind of a rundown of some of the games that you were playing around that time and from there to now.
So I kind of went through a little bit of a rough patch again last year, as we all do every year. You have that one part of the year that's a rough patch. So to bring myself back, I was playing a lot of indie games, trying to find some ones that could connect with.
When AAA game developers make crappy games, he will be here. When you do not feel like spending 80 of your hard-earned dollars on a video game, he will be here. Or when you just feel like playing a video game that defies the law of video games, he will be here. This is Cazador Jones' Indie Video Game of the Month.
One game company, I'm trying to remember, I don't know the company off the top of my head, so I apologize. It's been a while since I played these ones, but this company makes the game like Bastion, Transistor. These games were really good. I enjoyed them. They're very interesting strategy-based combat, hack and slash games.
Okay.
Yeah, and Transistor was very much a strategy-based game where, in order to describe this in the best way, if you've never played Transistor, you basically have these slots that take up attacks, and you can plan your attacks out before you actually initiate them. And then once you've planned out your attack, you can initiate them. So your goal is whenever you're into attack mode or you're in combat, you want to end the battle. So you want to take out all your enemies as fast as possible. And you're on a timer kind of thing. So you can only do it so fast, so quickly, but you can plan your attacks out, hit them all and try and knock them all out and then move on to the next area in battle. So it's a really fast paced game. The combat's not very hard to figure out. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I played the crap out of it to the point where I maxed my character out. I played through the game probably 3 times in a row, New Game Plus'd it. Really good storyline. Voice acting was really well done in it. It's just kind of an eerie little game, but really fun. And
that was from, by the way, folks, he was saying earlier, he was trying to remember the name of the studio. That was Super Giant Games.
Yes, there we go. And they're good. They do so many good games. And they're not unpopular. They're well known. They've been around for a while. And Transistor isn't new. It is an older game.
2014, 2015.
Yeah, but it's so good. And just like I said, I find some of these games on the Switch are they're perfect ports because they're portable. So that's mainly the selling point for me playing most of these games now. So there was that. And then after I played through those, I went on a little bit of a platformer kick, which was interesting because I'm not really a platformer player. And I switched modes and went into one called, I don't know if I talked about this one. I might have before So I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but it's called Ori and the Blind Forest. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you.
I feel like you mentioned it, but you didn't really talk too much about it.
Either way, that was a good one. That one's also been out for quite a while too. That was a Microsoft exclusive. So, but that was a nice little platformer. You just kind of jump around. As you go around, you unlock new abilities. You fight little areas, you try to navigate through areas, avoiding monsters and creatures. And your main goal is you're a little wisp, and you basically have to go and save this forest that is under siege. And yeah, it's very entertaining. It was very fun. I'm not really into platformers, but this one had a lot of good concept behind it. Had a lot of mechanics that made it fun, made it playable, or not playable. Sorry, I shouldn't say that platformers are playable. Made it more enjoyable, and it gave you unique ways to play it.
It wasn't just like a generic
Mario Bros.
Yeah, okay.
Where you're just hopping and everything. It was more of eventually, you'll hit an area where you can't go up a wall, so you have to go and fight somebody, and then you unlock a wall climb, and that's the kind of thing I was like, oh, okay, that's more motivating to get through a game when there's more incentive like that. Mm-hmm. Then after that, I kind of ended off my indie game kick on Hollow Knight, which
I've heard about that one. How is that game? What's the deal with that? Because I've heard it's really good. Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. So when I first got it, I was a little hesitant because, like I said, I'm not a platformer person. So I've heard a lot of people say this one's really difficult. So I was like, oh, great. Okay. I'm going to probably get really frustrated with this game, but that's okay. I'll just play it for a bit and see how it goes. So I actually got really right into it. It was, of course, very frustrating because I'm not a platformer person. But once you get the hang of it and it becomes a routine, it's like magic. It's just like playing this. I don't know how to describe it. It's just an incredible journey. The scenery is great. The music, the sound, playing this game on your Switch or on a big screen. Either way, it's worth it. The combat's great. The system's a little interesting where they make it they try and take your rewards away very quickly from you. So they don't want you to feel like you're actually beating this game. They don't want you to feel like you're getting ahead.
Yeah, just when you start to think, oh, I'm gonna be overpowered. Nope.
No, never. You're never overpowered. It's literally, this game is a struggle to survive, and it is survival of how well you move your little knight around. And yeah, it's based on bugs, so they're all little bugs, and okay. I guess there's this dead little area underground that you get to go and explore. And you're wearing the husks and masks of dead bugs throughout it. So,
that's metal as fuck.
It's and your weapon isn't even a sword. It's a little needle. So okay. There's a couple of people in the game that are main characters, but they're antagonists, and they have different weapons. So one of the people you fight, she's got a needle and thread.
Okay, yes, I remember that part of the game. I remember you.
So
talking
she's
about that
so cool. She's awesome. I love her. I can't. Her name's drawing a blank. It's been a while since I played, but love her. And actually, there's a game coming out. If it's not already out, it's the sequel to Hollow Knight, and she's the main character. And so then anyway, so they're basically you have all these different not weapons. So you have all these different mechanics you get. Your same thing as Ori and the Blind Forest that keep you driving through the game, that help you access new areas. But not an easy game. Not something I would suggest for somebody who's would get frustrated easily. But if you're willing and you're determined and you are a go-getter and you want to complete this game, it offers you a challenge. There's new ways to play, how would you say it? There's new ways to access different areas every once in a while. You'll go into an area and you'll be like, oh, I didn't know I could have access up here with this double jump. Now I can. Cool. And then you'll go in and then you'll hit another roadblock and be like, okay, I'll come back later when I have more abilities. Then you just keep going and going. And eventually, it's just one of those games where it's very rewarding to return to older areas.
Yeah.
But it's very complicated. You're limited to where you save. You're limited to where you can, access. Sometimes you want to go to an area and it takes you forever to get to that area, but if you die, you start all the way back to your last save point because there's no save points.
So it kind of does the I don't know what else to call it, but it kind of does the Dead Souls thing.
Dark Souls,
Or Dark Souls, not what the hell is Dead Souls?
Yes.
And in alternate universe, there's a game called Dead Souls. I created.
Yes, now there is. But yeah, and it's very difficult. And like just for an example, one of the bosses you fight in this game, they're an optional boss, so you don't have to fight them. But if you do, it makes the game a little bit easier, like just a little bit, right? So I kept putting it off, and I was like, "There's no fucking way in hell." Pardon my French, folks. I'm sorry. We're allowed to swear, right?
Of course, I've sworn like 6 times.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. Sorry,
that's your first F-bomb of the whole show.
I am so sorry. Anyway, so I'm not used to it. That's why I'm just, oh crap. Okay, I'm a good Mormon child over here.
We used to, bro. You know how much some of the shit we used to say.
I know. I'm so dumb.
See, Caz is growing up, folks. He's grown up.
I'm growing up apparently. Like I've gone backwards. Cats apparently. Now. I'm not a cat person, and now I live with cats, and literally have a baby cat now, literally beside me, and he's my baby.
What's his name? Yeah. Why am I just hearing about this now? This should have been the topic of the show.
Oh, I don't know what he's doing right now.
My cats are still alive and well, by the way, folks.
Steve and Simba are good?
Steve and Simba are good. Steve was a little sketchy there I think near the end of the show, Steve was like had some serious health problems, but he is still he's still kicking. He's doing pretty good. You know, they still wake up at 5 a.m. to eat, so we're good, you know.
But yeah, sorry. So anyways, tangent. So back to
tangent initiated.
My F-bomb. So anyway, so this boss is literally optional in the game. My apologies. And
my apologies.
My apologies. So
I would like everyone to know that I would apologize for tangenting. What have you done to the Tangent King?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. Anyways, the Mantis. So they're called the Mantis Kings. These bosses.
Yeah.
And like the first time I went up against them, I'm like, oh, these are easy. I can do this. Like, no problem. Die instantly. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this boss fight ever. I hate this game. It's stupid. Throw away and control away. I'm like, it's dumb. I'm done with this game. So next day I come back. I'm like, all right, let's go back. Let's try again. Die again. I'm like, okay, it's stupid. I'm done with the game. I'm not doing it. So anyways, I'm like, I'm just going to go keep playing the game normally, and I'll come back if I want to later and fight this guy. So like, keep playing. Finally, I get this one upgrade. I'm like, oh, this is the upgrade right here. This is the upgrade that's going to let me win. Go back. Fight him. Die. Okay, I hate this game. This is stupid. This is so stupid. So I take a deep breath. And I look back at this boss and I go, okay, the number one way to win a boss fight is repetition. Always go back. Fight until you get into a pattern. Sure enough, I do it. I just keep going back, fighting. And finally, I just get into this super crazy, like, it felt like going Super Saiyan God mode. It was so great where you just like when you're in a boss fight and everything's just flawless. Like you hit them, you dodge, just wipe them out, right? Kill these Mantis Kings or the whatever they're called, the Mantis Twins or whatever. And I was just so happy because they're like they give you this whole like the whole culture was attacking you before, like the bugs were attacking you underground, and once you beat their kings, they all respect you, so they all leave you alone. And it's just such a great feeling and such a good accomplishment. And I was just like, oh, and it was just a classic gaming feeling where it's like, yes, everything takes time. Just keep doing it. Eventually you will master it. Repetition is key in a boss fight. Never give up. And yeah, it was a good feeling, but it's definitely worth a play. I don't want to get too into it, obviously, because I'm not going to give you misinformation on it, but it is worth the money. It is worth the play. I know the sequel's coming out or is out by now. I'm not 100% sure.
That was the still Hollow Knight you're talking about, right? Just to make
there is.
Let me check, folks. Let me Googs it. Hollow Knight. Just while we're talking, because why not? Yeah, it does look like a really cool game. Okay, so let me see here. So there's Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yes, that's the sequel.
Which it was announced in February as a sequel to... Oh, wait. Is it out? Hang on here. I'm just looking to find out if this is out, folks. But it sounds to me like that would be your indie game of the month if we were doing that.
Oh, for sure. It's worth it. Like, buy it, play it, enjoy it.
Maybe I'll input it here just for the sake of fucking inputting it, okay?
Yeah, it'll piss you off. Like, it's just... But it's so much fun once you get into it, and like it's worth what the accomplishment. That's what it's worth. That feeling of, oh, I finally accomplished this impossible thing that I thought I could not do. Yeah, so basically what like all platformers, when I say that out loud, it's basically like all platformers. But this one has just a unique vibe to it, and it's worth it to feel that unique vibe and just feel that darkness. So,
yeah, sorry folks, I'm just trying to still figure out if the game is actually fucking live or not. It looks like it is. From what I can tell, I still can't find a release date or anything. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. Okay, yeah, it was announced February 2019. And no, is it not?
It's probably not done. I don't think
I guess it's not done yet. I don't even know.
But
yeah, as of right now, the game is still not released, but they did release some music from it. So that's something, I guess.
Yeah, games like that usually can get delayed too pretty easily, especially with
everything going on. It's totally understandable.
Yeah. So, yeah. But that's pretty much for indie games. I was like, I mean, there were a little bit extra ones in there, but nothing else that I would like say.
Nothing that was like worth writing home about or talking about on a podcast.
No, like very short. Like I would say, yeah, buy it if you want something to entertain you for 5 or 10 minutes. Like, yeah, but nothing like I'd be like that pops out that like, yes, play this game. Like when I put 32 hours into a game and I've only spent $20 on it, well, you know, you can do the math there. That's worth
pretty. Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hollow Knight definitely gets the the old seal of approval, folks. Mm-hmm. Approval.
Where are you, approval?
Oh, he's here. Don't even worry about it. I am putting in all the shit. Don't even worry.
Oh God. It's gonna be a nightmare by the time.
Could you guys tell how much I miss this shit? Like seriously? I would have segments on like that on the Hodder show, so I have to have fun with it while I can. But so indie games aside, which is awesome, and I mean, let's be serious. The legacy of Casdo Jones, one of the big things about it was your indie game representation. So I'm glad that we were able to touch on that here today. But from there, again, I know the big one, which is kind of the main event that you're still currently playing the crap out of on your Switch. But is there kind of any other games in the past year and a bit that you kind of want to touch on that you've played?
Yeah, like I guess like I don't know. We probably didn't do anything on Pokemon when it came out this past year, but Pokemon Sword and Shield got released on the Switch.
Yes.
That was huge. Like that would be something that I would have to get into big time, but it was amazing, incredible what they did with it. It was really impressed with everything that they are. It's still impressed with everything they are doing with it. This is the first time that they've ever actually been able to do DLC in a Pokemon game, and I think that's just brilliant because this saves us having to wait 3 years for the next game to come out. And they can just add pieces of the game in as they like, and they can just upgrade what they have, which is already, in my opinion, I don't know where else they would go with this model that they've got for Pokemon other than they can just expand it and make it crazier. But yeah, like they could literally use the basis of Pokemon Sword and Shield and just keep putting DLCs out every couple months, and everybody would be satisfied, and they'd save money because people would be more willing to buy a $30 DLC than spend $80 on a new game every year or two.
See, or they could just download this DLC for free.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Something to think about. No, but seriously, that's cool though. Like Sword and Shield has been, from my perspective, from what I can tell, has been very well received. So.
Oh yeah, and it's still getting played, and it's still a big game because it's like they're always updating it. They're keeping it fresh, and their DLC is releasing this month actually, coming up in June here, and it'll be good. You guys are definitely
going to hear, as you're hearing this, it's definitely at least like June. So it's not like this isn't coming out in July or anything. Like we're doing this as we're heading into June. So yeah, you guys are hearing this. It's still out right now. It's out. Go check it out.
Yeah. And then what else? I mean, they re-released Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. That was pretty good. And that was just a remake of the original one for the Game Boy and the DS, but like worth it, definitely worth it if you wanted to play through it. The graphic updates are great, and the story is still the same, but with a lot of control updates on top of that make it a little bit more enjoyable gameplay wise. So they've taken a little bit of the kinks out that were making it a little klutzy at first. Like you'd walk into a dungeon and you'd want to attack somebody, but the controls weren't really laid out for you. Where in this one, they kind of were more hands-on with you a little bit at the beginning. We're like, here's how you play. This is what you want to do. All right, enjoy your game. And yeah.
Here's how to play. Here's what we fixed. Good luck.
Yeah. And it was a good game. And then, and then that leads me pretty much into the last game that I've been playing.
The main event, folks. The one you've been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, Casual Jones of Two Guys in a Game. What is the game you are currently playing the living shit out of?
Well, right now I'm playing a game which I know you said no Corona talk that much, but I'm going to just talk about here really quickly. I believe that Nintendo created a conspiracy. They released the coronavirus and then periodically started releasing all their blockbuster games one after another each month. And what they did is the last one they released was when they knew all the countries were going to shut down, and they released them the most coronavirus propaganda they could alongside Animal Crossing New Horizons, because it makes sense that they would want to quarantine everybody to play this game, because this game literally requires you to not leave your house ever again. And if you do, you suffer every day or every minute you're not playing this game, because it's some sort of addiction worse than alcoholism and cigarettes combined. I hate my life that I love this game so much, TJ. It's terrible. It's the worst.
So, like, compared to the old, like because you played some of the older Animal Crossings, right?
Yes, I've played. I started playing around Wild World, and I mainly focused on City Folk for the Wii. I played New Leaf on the 3DS, and now this one would be officially my third Animal Crossing game I've really invested my time into.
Okay, so compared to the older ones, what's like just a couple of like the big differences with New Horizons? Because it was a very hyped game.
Yes. Obviously, the biggest change, as always, and, you know, I'm not one of those, I hate sounding like one of those gamers who's all about graphics, but you know what? When it comes to it, the cosmetic overtone looks nice. They've updated that, and it's all, like, just beautiful. Like, the flowers in the game are just one of the things that it just pops out. The scenery just looks nice. Some more updates are, it's more customizable in this game. There's a lot of customization going into your island. You get to design your island the way you want it. You make your town the way you want to look. What else? The big changes were how certain mechanics work. So like they've changed the how you would unlock certain tools or items. So there's a lot of fishing, bug catching in this game. And you actually now have a crafting mechanic installed into the game, which allows you to build your own tools, build your own furniture. Basically, you can customize all these fun things, and that added a really nice level to the game. And yeah, they just have they've solidified a lot of their kinks in the game that were causing it to be, oh, this is like a little annoying. Now they've taken that aspect out and replaced it with, you know, for instance, flowers are a big one. People used to get stressed out about flowers in this game because if you didn't water them, they'd die. Well, now they've taken that out. Flowers don't
die if you don't water them.
Yeah, they just don't. They're fine, and that's something that's kind of nice because now that helps you kind of do what's called flower breeding to create these like amazing hybrid colors, and it really maximizes how you can breed and what you can do. And they've really gone into the details with the flower breeding in this game, which is really interesting. Some other things they added in too were like changing up some of the characters that come into your towns. It's very like, it's very much easy to get into this game if you've played an Animal Crossing game before, and if you haven't, it's also easy to get into. They've made this the perfect Animal Crossing game for anybody. Anybody can get into this game. Anybody can play it. If you've never picked it up,
you will get right into it. If you know what you're doing, you can get right back into it. It changes the gameplay from New Leaf, where they've taken anything that they didn't think worked out and they kept whatever they thought worked in. So there's a lot that I like that they kept from New Leaf, but there's a lot that they took out where I'm not missing it too. So they hit all the notes on the head. They've added a lot of different things, like to the point where when I say you can customize your island, you can literally change
like
the levels
the
on your island,
right?
You can do the layout. You can move your house to where you want it to be. You can move other people's houses. You can change where the rivers are flowing through your town. You can build mountains and hills if you want. Like, you fully, like, they have done like a build your own island game right here. And the stuff that you're going to see come out of it already, the stuff we've seen come out of it is incredible. My one friend, I will not name her because I know she would probably be a little upset if I did out of nowhere, but her island is incredible. Like, she has the top island I've seen to date, and she will always have the top island. She puts the most effort into it. And then I have the second best island I know. And that's not saying much because my island's a mess.
I have the second best island I know.
Because, but like, as far as development goes, there's a lot of work that you can put into this game to make your island look nice. But at the same time, if you're not that kind of player and you don't really care about the cosmetics of how your island is, and you're just playing this game to have fun and enjoy the game, you don't have to put the effort in. They're not making you do that. And you just kind of can play this game the way you want to play it. Customize your character the way you want, live your life the way you want, and basically just make as much money as you can, buy all these useless junk, and it's a glorified Sims game, but with all of a Nintendo twist on it, and lots of just like very entertaining, fun little things to do to keep you occupied. And before you know it, like, if you start this game up, you will play it for 3 hours before you realize, oh shit, like, you're stuck.
I've been playing this game for 3 hours.
You're literally all you'll do for 3 hours at one point. Like, I found myself, I redesigned my whole town one day. I was playing the game for 12 hours. I took breaks in between, but literally 12 hours to redesign my whole town. And by the time it was done, I was like, this is awesome. And then 2 days later, I redesigned it all again in 4 hours. And I was just like, oh man, like, there's so much, you lose track of time in this game. So that's why it's very much worth it. And that's why I definitely think Nintendo is behind a lot of this bullcrap that's going on in the world right now. It's just
play
Tell
Animal
me
Crossing.
it's not a coincidence. Tell me it's not a coincidence. The second we go into lockdown, this game gets released like minutes before we go into lockdown. Yeah, okay.
That is freaking hilarious. But that's awesome to hear about Animal Crossings. For those of you who definitely haven't checked that out, you should. And, hit us up on the social media because I will respond. And maybe I'll put you in contact with Caz and you can buy some turnips off him or something. That's awesome, man. Well, as far as me, guys, real quick, it's not really super interesting, but it's funny you mentioned about how you spent like 12 hours and you didn't even really realize it playing.
Yeah. Oh, God.
For me, really, the only two games I've been playing majorly, one of which, quickly, I'm just going to say, has been, again, The Witcher 3, because I got out of it. But then because of The Witcher series, I started playing it again for obvious reasons. Because it's an amazing
Because
series.
Henry Cavill has amazing abs. We know.
Yes,
we get it.
And he's just a sexy individual. And then, of course, some Battlefront 2 online, because I can actually do online now in my new apartment. I can actually play it and actually have fun, and it actually works. So I've been playing the fuck out of it. If you guys want to do some Battlefront online with me, the Hodder Show is my tag. Get at me. But the main game I've been playing the shit out of, for those of you who know me, know that I'm a humongous wrestling fan. And I've been playing the crap out of WWE 2K20, which was horribly reviewed when it came out because it was very buggy. But they seemingly have fixed everything. I've been enjoying it. But what's kind of just funny, interesting, I had about 12 days where I had to be off work because there was concerns that I had the virus actually, which is kind of funny because I knew I didn't, but like I developed enough symptoms that I was like, shit, I got to get tested. It's the responsible thing to do. And they were like, all right, buddy, you gotta, you can't do anything for the next few days. And I'm like, fuck. So I literally was like in my bedroom downstairs just playing WWE 2K20, creating all of the Chinlock Wrestling roster. Shout out to Chinlock Wrestling, my favorite wrestling here in Ontario. I just created like friends of mine that I know who wrestle with Chinlock and other wrestlers, and like just I spent like 3 days straight. That's all I did, which is 2K20.
Oh, man.
That's it. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else. I needed a goal for myself because I was like, I'm going to go crazy. And I didn't feel like podcasting because I was like, yo, like I could have coronavirus and I don't want to podcast right now because I was like, going to talk about it a shit ton. So I was like, let's go ahead and avoid podcasting right now. So, yeah, it's funny how, we've talked a lot on this podcast about how video games are really an escape for us.
Yes.
And how they're a great way to let off steam and a great way to kind of still in a way have that creative outlet while I guess technically not being creative, technically depending. But for a game like Animal Crossing or a 2K20 where you can create stuff, it still kind of sort of works with that.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have really anything other exciting stuff to talk about as far as gaming, which is really sad considering it's been a year. But I haven't really I haven't really played much else. Like, I moved and then I was playing a little Battlefront and fucking 2K19, I guess, technically. But I haven't really... I was playing Paper Mario on my phone. That was pretty much it, though. Not much else.
Well, there's a new Paper Mario coming out. So
that's gonna be cool. That's
exciting. Yeah, I'm excited for it. That comes out in July, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Paper Mario and the Origami King.
Something. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool as shit.
It's gonna be nice. I'm excited for it because it does look like, as much as I have not liked the last few Paper Mario games that have come out, I do think that this one will finally have enough of the mechanics all mushed together, and they might have actually created something beautiful this time. So I'm just hoping that I can I'm buying it. I'm going to buy this one. I'm going to play this one. And I'm hoping that the mechanics in this game are just fun and loose and not specific. And that's what I'm getting from the trailers, that they're trying to keep the combat system very fun and loose and not specific to one kind of combat. It's all over the map. And that's kind of what I want. I want a Mario game that's just going to be fun like that. Not something that, like, if they're going to go specific, they have to go back to basics. They have to go turn-based RPG Paper Mario, but they're never going to do that. And I have to move on and accept that because that's just me.
But you
and
can
that's
still
old
dream.
I can dream. So I'm going to embrace the new Paper Mario. I'm going to support Paper Mario again because I do want to see these titles continue on. I think Paper Mario is a huge, huge part of Nintendo that gets left in the dark. But they always seem to bring it back into the light, and they just don't give it enough to pull it out of that darkness. And I really just want them to pull it out this time. So I'm hoping Origami King sparks that and we can see some more Paper Mario. Hopefully some good Paper Mario.
That would be very cool. And definitely, check it out. And, getting ready to kind of wrap things up here today. It would not be two guys in a game if, of course, we didn't take a quick second here to give some shout-outs.
Shout-outs initiating.
So, I was just about to say, be sure to keep it locked to us here, and we'll tell you all about Paper Mario when it comes out, but, it's not a thing. So, I was like, wait, hang on. We don't do that anymore. But there's a lot of great gaming podcasts out there you can go check out, and I would be remiss, of course, not to give some shout outs. We want to give a humongous shout out to our good friend Josh over at Still Loading Podcast, who is number one, a phenomenal human being. I know Josh very well. He is our Podbeard Network brethren, and he is the resident gaming podcast over at Podbeard Network right now. After your boys bowed out, he kind of took over, and he's been kicking ass and taking names, and he also has been streaming, so I want to give a humongous shout out to him. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to the No Geeks Allowed as well. They're on a break at the moment, a bit of a hiatus ski, kind of like what we did, but like theirs was kind of sort of planned, I think. But they do a lot of like fun, nerd, geeky game talk, things like that, so definitely check them out. I want to give a shout out to the Amazing Nerd Show, who are still going strong. They're kicking ass and taking names. We've been shutting them out forever. They are not just gaming talk, but like they definitely touch on that. So if you want kind of some up-to-date gaming podcast stuff, go check them out. I want to give a shout out, of course, as well to the Drinks with Larry crew for all their support and their love. I'm sure they're going to check this episode out. So if you guys are listening, what's up? Hope you guys are doing awesome. I haven't talked to them in a while, but I know they're still kicking ass and taking names. They're an awesome podcast, so go check them out. I want to give a shout out to the Beta Geeks. They got a real nice pad down on the mic. they are actually getting ready to do podcast. They're actually getting ready to do a bit of a comeback episode. So that's very exciting. So they're still kind of going, and they kind of had to go off the radar a little bit there. But I believe they are getting ready to make a comeback. I want to give a shout out to a new podcast that since we've been gone have come in that I'm really enjoy. I believe their name, I have it spelled out, but I believe it's What the Fuck Amicom. So it's WTF-FAMICOM. It's a gaming podcast for people who hate gaming podcasts. And it's actually, I really like what they do. They're really funny. Dare I say that I think if you enjoyed Two Guys in the Game, you'll probably like their podcast a lot. We're definitely not similar, but like it's kind of the same groove. If you like Two Guys in the Game, you'll probably like them. And then I want to give a shout out to a streamer you guys should definitely check out. My buddy Gamer Freak 0x. He kills it if you're in the stream. You should check him out, as well as Still Loading Podcast, as Josh does stream as well. And then last but not least, me personally, I want to give a big shout out to our boy Dylan Hunter, who was the #1 motorized windblower. He was a big supporter of the show. I know he's really excited for this episode. I didn't tell him this was coming. I told him I was uploading old episodes, so he was excited about that. But I'm hoping this is a big surprise for you, Dylan. So, what's up, buddy? How are you? Congratulations, by the way. He actually just got engaged, so big shout out to you, my man.
Congrats.
Yeah, definitely. And that's all I got. Caz, any shout outs? Anyone you want to give a little shout out ski to here while we're getting ready to wrap it up here?
Yeah, just to the Prince who is king, you know.
Yes.
He's keeping it real. He's you know, we see him every day too. So, but yeah, just want to acknowledge that guy because he is a big part of this podcast as well.
Yes, definitely. He really is and was, and you know, he's a good friend of ours, and you know, there's no one I like making laugh in this world more than Nathaniel.
Yes,
the Prince that is king.
The princess. Yeah.
If I could just hire him to like follow me around and laugh at me, I would. I really would. Like just.
Yeah, just okay. You just go stand in that crowd over there. But what about social distancing? Okay, Nathaniel, don't get technical.
Listen,
come on.
Listen. I of course want to give a big shout out to Jason Reese of Jaybird Digital Arts. For you know everything he did for the podcast and continues to do, and the graphic you guys see for this episode, Jason's done something. I don't know what yet. I haven't even talked to him about this yet, but I'm gonna just send him this and be like, "Hey, I need a graphic for this." So big shout out to him and everything he did for the show, the cartoon versions of Caz and I, you know, and anything I do, you know, he's a huge help. And of course, last but not least, I'm sure Caz will agree with me on this. We need to give a big shout out again to Mr. Brandon Bowden. For everything that he did for this podcast and does for us and for me, and you know, he's my best friend, and
he will always be the producer.
Yes, he will always be the producer. Two Guys in a Game, the third man in Two Guys in a Game. Without him, this show would not have happened, and it would not have gone the way it did. And it would not have had, basically, in my opinion, almost the cult following that it has in a way.
Yes,
we're kind of a big deal, but not really, you know.
Yeah, like you may have heard of us, but probably not.
Oh, man. Well, Caz, I look at my watch, man, and I think it is about that time. As much as I would love to keep talking to you forever and ever and never stop.
Oh,
this has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, man. It's been very cathartic for me.
And who knows, we might have just sparked something here doing this.
Yeah.
Here, this has been pretty easy going. This has been pretty easy to do. So who knows, this might spark something for future development.
For sure. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, you know what, I want something, hit us up. Two Guys in a Game on Facebook, Two Guys in a Game podcast on Instagram, and then I don't even use Twitter anymore, so never mind. But yeah, 2 Guys in the Game podcast Instagram, 2 Guys in the Game Facebook. Hit us up. 2 Guys in the Game podcast at gmail.com. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe. Who knows? I never say never. Caz, my man, I love you. I'm glad I got to talk to you. And I see you pretty much at least once a week. But I got to talk to Casanova Jones here today. Okay, so I'm excited about that.
And I got to be reunited with Rodrigo.
Yes, Rodrigo is here, monsieur.
That's another thing too. If we do come back, that's Hodder's new name is Rodrigo. No, he is now officially being upgraded to Rodrigo.
I will never
vote on that. If we get 1,000 votes, he has to change it.
Okay, if we get 1,000 people that hit us up and say that you need to be Rodrigo now and 2 Guys in the Game, or you guys need to come back in some way, shape, or form, I'll do it 100%. I'll do it 100%. Yeah. In all reality, if one person messages saying that, I'll probably do it. But anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a special DLC episode of 2 Guys in a Game, the epilogue, the post-show epilogue, whatever you want to call it. I've been Hodder.
And I'm Caz.
And we will not see you again, but maybe, who knows, and we appreciate you guys so very much for tuning in to this special one-off episode of 2 Guys in a Game. Bye, everybody.
Last word.